Hi everyone and welcome back to my episode. Today I'm excited to be sharing this art supply swap / collaboration I did over Christmas with Katy Martino. So what we did is we each went out and bought a load of art supplies and then sent them to each other, and I'm going to be unboxing the art supply she sent me and then drawing or colouring, doing some sort of piece of artwork using just the supplies she sent me. So you may remember that Katy and I have collaborated before. We did a Disney Aristocats drawing collab earlier last year, and as we both live in different parts of the world, I live in Europe and she lives in Canada, and as we can get different art supplies locally, so there are some things that I can get very easily open stock here that are harder for her to find, and vice versa. We thought it would be lots of fun to send each other a package and swap some art supplies, particularly swap things that we can't get out locally ourselves. I just wanted to show you guys the outside of the box because I absolutely love how she decorated it with all the cute ocean themed stickers. It was just such a fun package to receive. So we were thinking along the lines of an art supply subscription box, but making them more unique to each other. So we sent each other an extra little gift, and we sent each other some candy, and I had lots of fun doing this. And if you'd like to see what I sent Katy, then after you've watched this video, go check her video out to see what I sent her. So what we decided to do was, over Christmas, we agreed on a price. I think it was 20 or 25 Canadian dollars, something like that. I can't remember the exact amount, but we agreed on a price. Then we each went out shopping and we sent each other a parcel of goodies. The very first thing in the box was this lovely mushroom print of hers. This is actually one of my favourite pieces that I've seen on her YouTube channel. She actually has a speed paint for this drawing, but I was really excited to receive one of her prints to add to my art wall. Then there were a couple of postcards, and these are the Animal Kingdom ones. And I just love colouring pages, any colouring pages. I'm really looking forward to colouring these using my fine liners, my Staedtler fine liners, because those have very, very fine tips, and this colouring is really detailed. And yes, so there was a flamingo, some bugs and a fish. She also sent me some paper samples, and I actually did the same thing. I sent her some paper samples as well, and this was a really great idea because I could test out some different papers without having to buy the whole pack or without having to buy the whole sketchbook, and so I could see if I'd like them or not. So she sent me some Recollections cardstock, which is her go-to marker paper, and I really loved it as well. It was a really lovely paper for markers. And she also sent me a couple of sheets from the Canson XL series mixed media sketchbook, and I was really interested to try this paper because I'd seen so many people on YouTube use it, and I kind of wondered whether or not I should get the sketchbook, but without being able to go into a shop and feel it, it's very difficult to judge, so I was really pleased to be able to test out the paper. The next thing in the parcel were these lovely yellow paper flowers by Recollections. I absolutely loved them. They were a lovely shade of buttercup yellow. Yellow's my favourite colour, and I've been using them to decorate all sorts of things. We decided to send each other something in our favourite colours. I got these lovely little yellow flowers, and I sent Katy some goodies in dark midnight blue. You'll have to go and watch her video to find out what those are. I'm not going to spoil the surprise. Anyway, so now on to the art supplies she sent. I was really excited to receive this full pack of 24 soft pastels. Soft pastels is a medium that I've been wanting to try for a while, but I've never tried it before. So I've never owned soft pastels, and I've always wanted to, but I've never quite got around to getting some. So I was so pleased to get these in the parcel. I had no idea she was sending these. And in her letter she was explaining how she'd watched some of my videos and decided on sending me pastels because she'd never seen me use them. And she's absolutely right, I have never used them. So I was really excited to try them out, and you'll see later on what I created using them. And this is a really lovely set. The colours were really vibrant and really pigmented. It was just a really lovely set, and I was so excited when I unpacked it. And then there were a few different sweets and candies. The Kit Kat bar I've had before, but none of the others I've ever tried. There was a coffee crisp bar, a caramel milk bar I think, and some Macintosh toffees, and I really liked the toffees. I'm not usually one for sweets, I don't have a big sweet tooth, but I really did like those toffees, and I was sucking not munching, you can't munch on toffee. I was sucking on the toffees as I was drawing my piece and then doing the rest of the unboxing. So the next thing were some jelly roll pens. I actually requested these from her when we were discussing this in the email. I asked her if there's anything particular she wanted, and I told her that I would really like to try some jelly rolls because I've never tried them before because I can't get them where I live. So she sent me a white and she sent me 3 glittery ones in sort of galaxy colours. So there's a green, a purple and a blue, and they were really lovely. They're really opaque. So the next supply was something that I also requested, and she sent me 9 Prismacolor Premier coloured pencils, and I was really happy and excited to be getting these as well. I actually have had Prismacolors once before, but it was a long time ago before I'd really learnt how to use pencils, so I really wanted to give them another go and add a few to my coloured pencil collection, and I really did enjoy using them again. I've been using them quite a lot recently. The last thing in the box was some very messy charcoal. She'd actually put a label on the outside of the package saying very messy, and it was, but it's sort of glorious black velvety smooth charcoal. It's really, really nice, really messy, but if you want some really black charcoal, you can't get blacker than that. So that was really lovely as well. And I just wanted to show you this little drawing she'd done. She'd written all the art supplies out on a little card, just like you'd get in an art supply subscription box, which I thought was really cute and really fun, and I really liked that touch. So that's what came in my box: soft pastels, jelly roll pens, Prismacolor pencils and some black charcoal. And now what I had to do was to create a drawing using as well all or almost all of the art supplies, because in the end I couldn't manage to use all of them in the same piece. So this is the drawing that I did for this. When I was sketching out this piece, I decided to do something simple. So I just drew a girl and some mountains, and I decided that I would use the pastels in the background. So that was the plan as I was sketching it. This was actually really hard for me. As I said before, I'd never ever used pastels before, so I was really unsure of how to apply them and what to expect, and a little bit unnerving, I guess, just because it was so different to what I normally do. I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, I've seen people use them in videos, but even that it doesn't help you terribly when nothing substitutes actually using the thing to know what it feels like. So I did a bit of research on the pastels. Actually, Katy recommended to me in her letter an artist who used them on YouTube. So I went to have a look at some of her videos to sort of get at least sort of an idea of how I might use them or how you could use them. And so I just decided to do a kind of a gradient because I wanted to use a lot of the different colours. So I started with yellows, oranges, then into pinks, purples, and then blues, and then up into black. And that worked out quite well. What I think I hadn't counted on was how messy they were, and how the colours, when the colours went into each other, they obviously smudged, and you could create muddy colours really fast. So I definitely need to practice more with pastels. I think out of all the mediums I've tried to date, pastels is definitely the hardest, but I did enjoy using them, and I absolutely loved the vibrant colours. The colours were so vibrant, and also I found working with the pastels, it's quite freeing working with pastels, just because they're so unpredictable and you're using your finger. It's quite a different process to using markers, and I really did enjoy it, even though I found it quite hard and really nerve-wracking. So then I came to using the pencils, and because I was using pastels, I don't know where I picked it up from. I think it must be a YouTube video, but I decided to use a textured paper because I thought I'd read somewhere that pastels work best on textured paper. So it worked lovely for the pastels, but then when it came to the pencils, I realised that Prismacolors actually work probably better on a smoother paper because they're wax based and you want to be able to layer them smoothly. So at first I didn't really like what I was creating. As I said, this piece was very hard for me. But after a while I found that I was really loving the texture of the pencils on the watercolour paper. When I use pencils I smooth them and blend them out so they look completely smooth, but with this I really tried to embrace the textured look. It took a long time for me to get used to it. I actually didn't like this piece until about 5 minutes before I finished it. Just because I had to get really used to seeing the different mediums and working with them. When it came to colouring the piece, Katy had given me a really good selection of colours. There wasn't a skin tone, so what I decided to do was to use the purple as a shadow, yellow as a highlight, and sort of use pink, the light pink, as the base, and just sort of layer up the browns and reds in her hair and the green for her dress and her headband. I've had a chance to play more with some of these art supplies since this drawing. I recorded the video portion in late December, I think. It was after Christmas, after I'd opened the parcel and I wanted to play around with the new supplies, so late December, and I'm recording this voiceover in early March, so I've had a bit more time to play around with some of the supplies. The Prismacolor pencils are really nice and I've been enjoying using them with the rest of my pencils. I just sort of mix them all up together, all the different pencils I have. The big thing that I didn't like about using the soft pastels was the mess. It made such a mess on my desk that I actually had to repaint it afterwards, because you can't see it so much in the video, but I got pastel everywhere. So the next time I'm using these, I'm either doing it outside, on the ground where it doesn't matter if it gets messy, or I'm covering my desk in newspaper. I've got to do something because it really was so messy, and I'm just not used to getting that messy when I'm doing my drawing. Anyway, so I ended up using the charcoal, the pastels and the pencils in the piece, and I used a tiny bit of the white jelly roll in her eyes. So I managed to use all the different materials. I just didn't manage to use the coloured gel pens because the gel pens do not stick to pastels and there wasn't really anywhere for them to go where they would make a big difference. So I really like how this piece turned out. As I said, it was a very hard piece to work on. It was so different to what I normally do, but that was the purpose of this exercise, of using this box, is to get supplies that I may not get normally, that I wouldn't think of picking up, and to experiment with different things. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much, Katy, for doing this collab with me. It was so much fun and I loved all the supplies you sent, and the little prints, the colouring pages and the pastels. It was so much fun, and thank you for putting together such a lovely parcel. I really hope that we can maybe do this again one time because it was so much fun. And yes, thank you so much for collabing with me. So now please everyone, go and watch Katy's half of the collab video and go and see what I sent her and what she did with the supplies, because I am really curious to see what she made with the supplies that I sent her. Anyway, so have a wonderful week everyone, and I will see you next time.